this is MX20 project kit, and in this box you've got all the necessary items to actually run a complete project using MX20 development tools. The first item you can see is a 12 volts adapter. That's the power supply you need for MX20. Then you've got a connector. This is basically a 25-way D-type connector, connects to MX20. Then you can attach all your peripherals, sensors, input, output to this device. Also, it comes in with a 7-segment display and key buttons, 8 of them, 8 display and 8 buttons, which are basically connected to this interface board, and you can actually write program to control this one as well. In here we've got MX20 board, and as you can see, the MX20 board is called Internet of Things, and it's got all sorts of facility and function for everything you need. It's got GSM, or basically if you want to do wireless connection and control everything with your mobile phone. This is the actual MX20 processor, so you actually connect and everything in there. It's got relays, 1 or 2 relays. It's got 5 volts power supply if you want to actually feed other devices using the actual MX20 power supply. And on the other item it's got is the actual PIC3. This is basically, you need this item to develop your software on the laptop, connect it to the actual MX20 and the laptop, and download all your software in here and test it and debug it. The other items that you can use is the aerial for the GSM phone. In case if you actually need to use it, you can actually use buzzer if you need to actually generate any tones and so on. Then it also has got USB to RS232 connector, which you can actually connect it to this board and connect it to your USB on the computer, and then you can talk to MX20. And also there is a temperature sensor as well, so you can actually use all of these ones. So what you want to do in order to actually get the project going and so on, then you need to have a laptop or a desktop. So what you need to do is connect the PIC3 into the board and make sure this pin, which is pin 1, is actually inside the board. So it's actually fitted like that. So this is how you actually connect it. So pin 1, the white one, is actually inside the board. And then you take the other side and you connect that one to your USB port on the laptop. So in this way, you can then basically write application software in C or C++ or assembler and download it to MX20. Okay, this for the actual software development tools, you need MPLAB X IDE. The version at the moment I'm using is version 3.26. However, you can actually use other versions as well. And this is a free software from Micrologic. So if I double click on that one, it will basically open up, and this way you can actually do all your software development tools and debugging and testing using this application software. Okay, what we need to do next is that basically connect the PIC3 to the laptop, and then we actually connect the 12 volt power supply. So if I connect it from here to actually power MX20, so that's how you can actually power it. And the next thing is basically what you need to do is go to MPLAB X, and as you can see on the left hand side, these are all the projects. So I've selected in this project, which is blink that LED PIC32, and normally if I go to the source files and open the led.c, this file is basically written in C programming language, and this is basically the file. So one of the options you can actually do is you can actually go there, right click, and that will give you various options. One of them, you can actually set it to as main project or unset it. The other one is you go down there to properties, and on the properties you've got to make sure you select PIC3 and XC32, that's the compiler version 1.34 for your program, and then you click apply. Okay, so you click apply and then you say okay, and that will take you to your main program. So this is a very simple program, turning these 3 LEDs on and off. So we've got various options. This option, if I put in here, it's got debug, main project, so that's debugging. If you need to test, put breakpoints and so on, then for this option you can download it. Once you're actually happy your program is working, you can download it with that one, and that means the program, after it's been programmed into the flash on the PIC32, you don't need the PIC3 anymore, so you can actually take that one off. So if I go over there for the debug option, click on the download, and you should be able to actually see the movement on the screen down in here. So at the moment it's actually tracing auto blinking LED, so you can actually see starting the movement and trying to compile and download the actual project. So now I started loading it, and it says basically it found the project, that's it, found PIC3 and it's programming and it's running it. So as you can see, our 3 LEDs are actually flashing. So the program is running and it's flashing the LEDs and so on.
Now,
what we're going to do is that basically modify the code, and in order to get, instead of having all 3 LEDs turning on and off, we just have 1 LED on and off at a time. So what we'll have is that basically we can actually use basically function, library function, port E, that's where the LEDs are attached. For example, clear bits, and then I will do have, for example, bit 0 in here. So if I just add that one there, that's bit 0. Now this one basically is a library function. The LEDs are attached to port E, clear bit 0. That's the first one, which is the red LED. Now this one is a delay one. If I actually go and copy this one down in here, and after the delay, what I could say is basically instead of clear, I could actually have set. So I would say set bit 0. So we'll have bit 0 to be turned off and bit 0 to be turned on. So if I basically stop this one, recompile and download it, you should be able to see just 1 LED turning on and off. And here, as you can see, when you run it, the program gets recompiled and downloaded, and you should be able to actually see the results coming in here. So it's programming and it's running. As you can see, from 3 LEDs we've gone down to 1 LED. This is a basic introduction to MX20. For example, you could actually, for your own activity or whatever, trying to turn these LEDs on and off in sequence. So what you need to do is that basically repeat this loop. For example, instead of bit 0, you'll have bit 0 and bit 0 in here. You add another one, which will be bit 1 and then bit 2. So then basically you can turn these LEDs on and off in sequence like a traffic light.